Even though Rob Zombie's Halloween was received fairly poorly by critics, they still decided to go ahead and move on with a sequel. Again with Rob Zombie in the director's seat. This time, however, he was given carte blanche to make Halloween his own. And I think that was a mistake. So for better or for worse, we are looking at Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So let's get spooky. Greetings everyone, my name is Nightshade, this is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky, and today we're looking at Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, released in 2009. Oh boy, is this hot dookie garbage. Yes, it is. So after I lovingly said that Halloween Resurrection was the worst in the franchise, a lot of you guys mentioned this one as being the worst, as well as Halloween Ends, and we're not there yet, but in about 2 weeks time we will be. And let me go ahead and tell you that, you know, they're close. They are all very close in terribleness, if I do say so myself, and I do. So the first time that I watched this movie, I went to the theaters to see this movie, and I went with my girlfriend at the time and one of her friends. And whenever the lights came back on and the credits started to roll, I was beside myself with anger for this film. Like seething, boiling anger. Like I genuinely hated watching this movie, to the point that I've only actually seen this for the third time to do this review. I saw it once in the theater, and then I rented it from Redbox whenever it was, you know, out of the theaters and available to rent. And the third time that I saw it was last night to do this review, and much regret on that regard. I know that there is a small group of people, a niche group of people that do enjoy this film. They like that they've done something different and went a different direction. It's not the same hack and slash retread that we constantly get. And if you're one of those people, I'm genuinely glad that you enjoy this film. I am absolutely not one of those people. I genuinely had a bad time watching this film, but we're gonna review it anyways because just so we can say that we did, much to my chagrin. But if you are one of the people that genuinely love this movie, sound off in the comments below. Let us know what you like about it. If there's, like, you know, specific story beats and character choices that they made, yeah, sound off. What do you like about this movie? I do love hearing differing opinions, because echo chambers are in and of themselves boring as hell. Bunch of people patting each other on the back, agreeing all the time. Who wants that? No, not me. No. So yeah, sound off in the comments below if you are one of the people that loves this movie. I genuinely look forward to reading your comments. And if you don't want to hear me talk negatively about a film that you like, maybe skip this one out, because I've got very few positive things to say about it. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the review. So for this review, we're going to break this down into two parties, the positives and the negatives. But here on The Night Shift, we always start off on the bright side with So in this outing, Tyler Mane reprises his role as The Shape. Frankly, in this outing, he's a lot more brutal than he was in Rob Zombie's Halloween 1. Like, really fucking brutal. And yeah, he's a Myers that is not to be messed with. And honestly, I don't mind, you know, like the outfitting for the hobo Myers with the raggedy clothes and not wearing the coveralls. I think it's a fair change of pace. You know, it doesn't hurt my feelings, so to speak. But yeah, Tyler Mane is a brutal Michael Myers, and he is the most brutal version of Michael Myers in this outing of Rob Zombie's Halloween franchise. So yeah, he's definitely going to go on the positives for me. Moving on to our next positive, we have The kills in this one are brutal as fuck. So whenever I said that Michael Myers was the most brutal interpretation of Michael Myers, it is very much reflected in the kills of this movie. Like sawing off somebody's head with a broken piece of glass is brutal as fuck. Like we get a lot of really good kills in this movie. I think they're some of the best in the franchise, especially Danielle Harris's kill. Like it's pretty heart-wrenching. Like it actually evokes emotion, which you don't really see in like Halloween films at all. Like in a lot of Halloween films, we just want to see people die. We don't care who dies. We just watch people die, and that's fine. But when Danielle Harris gets killed in this film, and you know, you see Brad Dourif fucking bawling his eyes out, it's actually genuinely a heart-wrenching moment. And you know, I'm just not used to feeling anything for characters in this specific franchise, because you know, I'm just there to see Michael Myers do what Michael Myers does best. And it's a nice change of pace to have a genuinely moving death on screen, and something that, you know, evokes emotion rather than just, you know, blood good, kill good, love kills. But you know, like it's a nice change of pace, and it's weird coming from a Rob Zombie film that we get a kill that genuinely evokes a lot of emotion. And it doesn't help that, you know, a lot of the fans of the franchise know that Danielle Harris, like we grew up with Danielle Harris as, you know, a final girl in H4 and H5. And so that doesn't help matters. Kills in this one are really good. They're probably the best part of this film, because I mean, they go in, they go hard, and you know, I love that for this movie. So now we move on to my final positive, which is, so once again, you know, the cinematography in this film is good. It doesn't bother me at all. I think it was pretty good composition as well. And I do believe that this was shot on 16mm film, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, for the choice of that being made, I do think that the film looks really good. So, you know, for all the faults that I have with this movie, it looks good, at least. So yeah, the cinematography is good, and whatever film stock that they used, I think it was 16mm. I should have probably looked that up, but I don't care enough about this film to do any more deep diving or watching of the film. So, and that's gonna do it for the positives, which means we move on to our next section of the review, which is so genuinely from the bottom of my heart, hate the half-torn mask in this film. Not a fan at all. Like whenever I was saying in Halloween H2O, we saw too much of Michael Myers' eyes. That was an issue for me. And in this one, it is a huge issue for me to see half of his face. It bugs me. And like, it looks cool in like the nightmare sequence in the hospital. I think the mask looks great there with all the blood and the holes in one side of the face, but like, that's where it ends. That's where the coolness ends. But whenever we get to the half ripped off mask, I genuinely hate it. I don't like seeing Michael Myers genuinely be angry in the face. I don't like to see him expressing at all. He's supposed to be emotionless, and that to me terrifying. But like, you know, seeing him get angry and furrow his brows and murdering people, I think it is dumb. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I think it was a dumb creative choice. Like I said on Tuesday's video when we were talking about the masks, I think it would have been better if they would have used the clean mask from that film and in that film, and used that mask throughout the whole thing, and then used the rotting mask in this film. I think it would have been a lot better looking anyways. The story is trash, so I mean, there's that. Yeah, I'm just genuinely not a huge fan of this mask whatsoever. You know, it could have been better, but it's not. So yeah, mask is trash, and we move on to our next negative, which is With the exception of Brad Dourif and Daniel Harris, everybody in this movie fucking sucks.
What's the difference between jam and jelly?
I don't know. What?
You can't jelly your cock up with that girl's ass.
Actually, I take great issue with that statement. Besides, I might say that I've endured quite a lot of misery of my own in order to tell this story.
Yeah, well, everyone feels real bad for you, except
I have never, ever been so humiliated in all my life.
Meet my new best friend.
Is this how your new work friends roll?
Maybe. Jealous?
Like, literally everybody in this film seems to be a piece of shit. Particularly Loomis is like a big piece of shit, and also Laurie Strode is just a fucking asshole to everybody. Now in the theatrical release, she's not that way, but I watched the director's cut last night, and they let those scenes play out a little bit longer, and she's just a fucking asshole. Like, Scout Taylor Compton is good at portraying an asshole, but you know, it's not really something that I wanted to see anyways. And like, sure, trauma changes people, it does, but like, it doesn't make you into a fucking dickhead. And Laurie Strode in this film is in fact a dickhead. So yeah, not a huge fan of the characters in this film. There's no buddy in this film that really has any redeemable qualities. Like, everybody just sucks. And I'm also not really fond of Laurie's like friend group. They all seem like a bunch of douchebags as well. So yeah, the cast in this film, the characters at least, they all pretty much fucking suck. And yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all. So moving right along, we have... There's a lot of shots in this film that I will admit, there are some that look really cool. Some of the black and white filler shots look really cool, but they serve no purpose whatsoever. Like, they're all dreams and hallucinations, and you know, that really helps pad out the runtime for sure. It's like Rob Zombie didn't have enough on the script, so he's like, you know what, let's make some dream sequences that can be left up to interpretation, and have them be non sequiturs and answer zero questions. In fact, they're gonna make you ask more questions, and we're not going to expound on those. We are just going to let it ride out. And yeah, so that pads out the runtime, and you know, since it makes no sense because it's under the guise of being a dream sequence, you know, it really just kind of makes up for the fact that this is not a well-written story at all. There's no rhyme or reason for any of these scenes other than to be an artistic choice, and I don't like them. And while we are still in this area, let's go ahead and move on to our next negative, which is... So the purpose of the White Horse is, it just feels like a way to shoehorn Sherry Moon Zombie into this movie because, you know, like, I get it, Rob Zombie, you love your wife, but I don't. But yeah, all in all, I feel like it was just a way to get Sherry Moon into this film, and it's a very clunky plot device as well to get Michael Myers back into Haddonfield, even though he's acting more like Jason Voorhees in this film because, you know, he's obsessed with his mother, I guess, and his mother tells him to go back to Haddonfield. So it's a clunky way to get Michael Myers back to Haddonfield and to shoehorn Rob Zombie's wife into the film. And I'm not a big fan of that at all. So yeah. So moving right along on our negatives list, we have... So even though he just says die, it's still a very big no-no for me to have Michael Myers talking. Like, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's just, you know, Michael Myers to me doesn't talk, and it's silly that he does talk. And I'm not even so sure that he says die in the theatrical release. I just recently rewatched the director's cut or whatever. It's the only version I could find. But yeah, it's not something that I'm going to spend a whole lot of time talking on. I just think that Michael Myers should never talk. And, you know, even though he just says die, it's still Michael Myers talking. And I think that is a big no-no. Hey, what's up? Nightshade, the editor here. So I was getting ready to do today's video, and there's a whole section where there's just no audio, so I'm going to cut in this little like filler thing. My other complaint about this movie is both iterations of the ending. I think neither ending is good. I'm not a fan of the way either of these end. I think I would like the director's cut just a little bit more, where both Laurie and Michael die. I think I like that one the best, but yeah, both iterations of the ending of this movie suck. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the way that this movie ends, and however, I am very grateful that it does end, so that is a positive, I guess. But yeah, I didn't want to postpone a video simply because one little section of the video got messed up audio-wise. So yeah, not a fan of the ending, and back to in-studio night. And you know, I thought I was going to be a little bit more livid about this review, but it's Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Like, I'm not going to let that ruin my day. I'll wait for Halloween Ends to do that. So, yeah, with that being said, that is the end of the review. And I'm going to go ahead and score this a solid 3 out of 10, much like the first Rob Zombie film. You know, there are some things about this movie that I liked. I listed them in the positives, but there's a lot about these films that I absolutely fucking hate, and you know, I don't consider them really even canon. I'm not gonna watch them. I don't go out of my way to watch them. I've seen this one 3 times, and like I said, I'm not watching it again. And Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 I've seen maybe 5 or 6 times, and once was against my will. So well, that's just gonna about do it for me. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends.